Yo, what's going on, fam? So I wanted to talk about the Commanders today and why I think we should tank. I've been a Commanders fan for a long time. I do have some talking points here that I'm going to use because I wrote them down. This is some stuff that I've been saying for weeks now. Since we were 3-8, we're now 3-10. Um, First things first, okay. Tanking is never officially the company line, but the organization needs to be on the same page, and this stuff happens in the league, okay. Winning teams, I've always said I'd rather cheat than lose. And I'm not advocating for cheating, and I don't cheat, but I'm just saying I would rather cheat than lose. If everybody else is cheating, you know what I'm saying? We might have to get involved. We might have to get involved. You know what I'm saying? If everybody else is doing it, then I'm not going to lose because these motherfuckers are cheating, and I'm not. You see what I'm saying? So, anyway, if cheating, taking happens, all right? Taking happens. Taking is like one of the lesser forms of cheating. I wouldn't even consider it fully out there as cheating, but it is cheating. At the end of the day, it's dishonesty. It's competitive disintegrity, right? It's an attack on competitive integrity, I should say. But you're not playing all out, and you're trying to manipulate the system. So it is a little bit. It's a little bit cheater-ish. But look, it happens, right? It happens, and at the end of the day, this season is lost. We're 3-10. We're mathematically out of the playoff picture. It's over. Okay. Jaden Daniels got hurt. We don't want to repeat RG3. Just let him sit out. He hasn't had a good season this season compared to last season. Last season I was talking about him as the GOAT rookie and on a trajectory to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He literally looked like it, and he did literally did play like that as a rookie. This season he has still played very well compared to most other quarterbacks, but by his standards he's not met a standard. Um, there have been things that he did this season that just made me scratch my head. Like, what were you doing this offseason, bro? Like, you got happy. You got happy. Sometimes guys get happy. They do well. People are talking about them, and they're just kind of like chilling and kind of going through the motions in the offseason. That happens all the time. So, that happens, and I feel like that bug might have caught him, but I think that he's going to come back. He's going to be better. He's going to be back on his regular timing next season. I think for the remainder of this season, with Jaden Daniels given the injuries, you sit him out for the next 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks or so, and you lose those games. You play the backups, you get guys reps, right? There's ways to frame this where you can do that. In front offices do this practice a lot. And I'm not saying we should throw the season away, but the season's over. We're not making the playoffs, so why win an extra two meaningless games, right? Let's go. Let's get 3 wins and finish the season with 3 wins. That would be my philosophy, and I would be working on 2027 Super Bowl. We're a good team. We're a competitive team. We have a chance at the Super Bowl in 2027, no doubt. But there's no correlation between our end record this year and the Super Bowl, our Super Bowl odds next year, right? In reality, there might be some on paper, like statistically, historically, but in terms of trends, but there's no real meaningful material impact of our record this season on next season except for our draft status. And the only way to improve that in our favor and to have that work in our favor is to actually lose out. So that's what we should do. But with Jaden Daniels, let him recover fully from the elbow. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever is necessary. Add an extra week on whatever is necessary. Okay, let him sit out. When he comes back, he plays 2.5 quarters a game, and Mariota goes in to finish the game, and the backups go in, and we lose that game. Okay, it's extra reps for Jaden Daniels. Those 2.5 quarters, we're not trying to necessarily win. Maybe throw some trick plays in there. Just try some shit. Go for it on fourth down when you shouldn't. Stuff like that. Like little decisions like that where we tank, right? We're not talking about going out and just being like, hey, Jaden, throw a pick on the first play, on the sixth play, keep doing this. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about don't put yourself in a position to win, right? I'm not, and we're not, and make it realistic, like make it competitive. But these guys are pros. They know what they're doing, and that's what they should do as a front office. 100% tank, lose out. Let Jaden Daniels get healthy. Let Jaden Daniels get extra reps. All right. Now, why should we tank? And why is it important to get an additional get higher draft position? I'm not saying that we should go for one guy. A lot of arguments I hear on like these radio talk shows and on TV and stuff is like, oh, you shouldn't tank because one guy is not going to fix your team. Nobody said anything about one guy, bro. That's increased draft position for the entire draft, 7 rounds, and we can trade back and get more than one player. We have a lot of holes. Okay, so I'm going to refer to my talking points here that I've written down over the past couple days. Last year's defense was an overperformance, not a baseline. This is a fact. Last year, our defense. First of all, our defense is extremely old. I think the average age, when the average age of a defense is 28 or 29, the team just gets worse and worse overall. Like that's been proven, right? Teams do worse, but I think we have a lot of guys in their 30s, right? We have Bobby Wagner's, Von Miller's, um, and guys of that nature who are not in their prime. even a Lattimore. I mean, he's had spurts this season where he didn't look great. So we have a lot of age on the defense. I think it's time to first of all get better. We need to improve the defense. I mean, our secondary really all the way through. Our defense needs to improve. Last year we overperformed. The defense overperformed and was an upper middle class defense. That's what I'll call it. I'll call it upper middle class. I wouldn't call it wealthy. I wouldn't call it affluent. I wouldn't call it a billionaire. I mean, upper middle class could be affluence. We're talking about. This is an analogy, so it doesn't matter. We don't need to get into the semantics of it, the pedantics of the vocabulary. But we're talking about a middle class to upper middle class defense overperformed last year. This year we're back to the cellar. We're in the slums. You know what I'm saying? We need to improve the defense significantly. Arvell Reese is at the top of the draft board. I'm not saying we should take him. Honestly, even if we get the top pick, I actually joined a call. I called into Grant and Danny on 106.7 The Fan the other day. If you guys are from the DC area, you know the show. And I made the point. He countered with this, and I was already thinking this, but I just forgot to say it on the radio. But he said, even if we get that high, we have no business taking Arvell Reese, and that's so true. We should be trading back. That draft capital is valuable. We can get like 5, 6 players out of a top 3 pick who may be able to contribute. Two or three guys that can really contribute right away, and we should be focused on doing that. Our defense needs to get significantly better. I've always said, defense, O-line first, quarterback next, and then everybody else after that. Because with a good quarterback and no O-line, the quarterback's gonna get hurt. And our O-line's not that great either. We need to shore that up as well. We need to continue to improve there. With a bad defense, you're never gonna win. You're just never going to win. You're going to engage in shootouts, and you have no predictability, no control over the game. You need a good defense, okay? Help your quarterback out, help the offense out. You need a good defense, and we're not constructed that way. Now, look, if that's my philosophy as a front office mind and general manager, if I were to be a general manager or a coach, that's my mentality. I'm not saying that this front office group needs to hold that mentality. Clearly, these are offense first guys. We're gonna run around the field. We're going to score all over the place in a multitude of different ways, and you got to keep up with us. That's their philosophy, and that's a completely valid philosophy. I disagree with, but it's a valid philosophy nonetheless, and it works, and it's worked for Kansas City for years. So this is not unheard of, and to have the philosophy that I just described and not have success, and to have success, it's not unheard of, but it's completely more common to win with a great defense. We need to work on that. And losing out will help us with that. The front office should understand that this season is lost, and that is the best way really to continue to help us build and come back healthy next season with all of our top guys and new guys who are going to help and make us a more well-rounded team as opposed to like a quarterback-driven offensive explosion team. That doesn't work. You see how consistent that is. Last season we went to the NFC Championship. This season we're 3-10. It doesn't work that way, in my opinion. The defense is not one piece away. We're not Arvell Reese away from being a good defense. We have many, many deficiencies to fix. Luvu had a great season last season. Sainer still had a good start to this season and pretty good. Look, I mean, these guys came down to earth this season, right? I'm not saying or taking away anything from them, but they came back down to earth. We did not perform like Pro Bowlers, like it may have seemed for parts of last season and early this season. It's just been proven to not be the case at this point. We need more talent, right? Those are not, if we were to liken it to basketball, I like to do this sometimes. Like, for example, on our defense, our D linemen, some of our D linemen interior guys are our best players, right? Who's your, you got your 1, 2, 3. Who's your 4 and 5? Who's your 5 and 6, right? In football, you got 11 guys. So your 5 and 6 better not suck. So if we were last year, right, Luvu might have been the fucking best player on our defense. I'm not going to lie. But, let's just say that on paper, talent-wise, Luvu was your 4 or 5. Sander still was your, 5 or 6. Those guys didn't look like 5s and 6s this year, right? I mean, we gotta shore that up. Not on a Super Bowl team. I mean, maybe on a roster, right? We got to get our 5s and 6s, our 7s and 8s, 9, 10 up there, man. I mean, you might be able to get away with an 11 who, if you're a worst starter is not elite or not super good and he can just be a C player, you can maybe win that way, but you're not going to win with C's at the 5 and 6, right? That's not going to fucking happen. It's the wrong sport for that. Maybe in basketball because you only got 5 guys on the court. Even then. Yeah, right. Okay, so this is the other thing. Our defense is hella old. Our offense is hella young. Okay, and I wouldn't even say hella young. We have Jaden Daniels, and we have some guys who we got rid of some of the young talent. De'Ami Brown, um, Zacchaeus, if I'm not mistaken. But we have an older defense and a younger offense. So what is the mission here? We got to get that squared away. I think it seemed like last year what the front office was thinking was we're playing for right now. Jaden Daniels is good enough right now. Our young guys on offense can contribute right now to try to win now. Right? It seemed like that's what we went for. Clearly that's not the case. We were mistaken. The Eagles handed our ass to us multiple times a year, multiple times in 1 year. They are clearly a superior team. They're better constructed. They have more talent at almost every position. I would argue that our quarterback is better, and I can't really give us anything else. I mean, what else do we have? They have AJ Brown over there, Devontae Smith. Almost forgot his name, but those. I mean, bro, their defense is nasty. They're tough. They are like extremely good as a football team. It's gonna be difficult to beat them. We got to construct a roster that can beat them. Um, and that's really who you're looking at, because that's not only the team that's in our conference, but the team that's in our division as well. So that's the big, that's you walk into the yard in prison. That's the guy you got to fight first to get some respect. You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot expect to just be like, you got to compare yourself to them. Is what I'm trying to say, right? Um, I mean, obviously the wins now are gonna hurt us. So here's what I like to think of. Okay, people always say, are we trying to win now or are we trying to build for the future? I think, I watched Scott McLuhan quite a bit when he was here and when he was in Seattle and when he was here. I felt that the way he was doing things, the long-term vision he had was the right way. But obviously the ownership group at that time did not have the patience to let that play out. What Scott McLuhan's philosophy was to stockpile talent. You take the best player on the board at every single uh, draft pick that you have, whether you have a need for that position or not. You're going to stockpile talent. You're going to have guys on the roster who can flat out play football. You can trade some of them. You can just leave them on your roster, and over the course of 5 or 6, 7 years of this system, your roster is going to be filled with studs. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have ballers. You're not going to you're not going to have an O lineman on the draft, have 6 or 7 great O linemen on your roster, go into the second or third round, right? You have your draft pick coming up. There's a stud O lineman that should be a first rounder. He's there in the third round, but you need a DB, so you're going to take a third round DB. That sounds stupid. You're just undervaluing yourself. Are you telling me that you're going to go to like an auction or some other place and you're going to see an item for $100 that should cost $5,000, but you have $250, so you're going to spend $250 and you're not going to get that $100 item? Doesn't make sense, man. Does not make sense. And that analogy might not be perfect, but it just doesn't make sense. I think the stockpiling talent thing was genius. That was heroic by McLuhan. And that's how they built the Legion of Boom in Seattle. And he was a drunkard like me, so I get a lot. That's why I support him too. No, I'm kidding. I don't drink anymore. But that these are the conversations we got to have as a front office. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? Yo, bro, I don't think that you win now. You don't win now by saying, we're going to win now. I'm making all the decisions to make my team the best I can this year and hope. Football is not like that, bro. At the end of the day, one season, right? You're trying to win now. You are trying to win. In the playoffs, there's one game, bro. You can really be the best team and still lose. You're not trying to win now. You're trying to build the best team and make the best decisions to be the best organization. And over the course of time, you're going to have the ball bounce your way. You're going to be one of the best organizations perennially. There might be jockeying for status season by season, year by year. And one season you're going to be the third best roster and win the Super Bowl. One season you're going to be the best roster and lose in the first round of the playoffs because you got upset. One season you're going to be the fifth best and make it to the Super Bowl and lose. Shit like that, right? That's how this works. There's an element of luck and unpredictability involved in the front office game. So no, you can't look. You cannot sit here and say, let's win now and just start getting the best players you can, not thinking about the future. You got to build a sustainable approach, a process, and just follow that process to a T. Continue to take the best players, try to develop them. Continue to, make the business decisions you need to make. Hey, look, Terry McLaurin, you want a fucking ton of money right now, man. Are you worth it? Perhaps, but, is it, it would be an unpopular decision to let you go. For me, the Terry McLaurin decision last season, man, I might have let that dude walk. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not trying to say that because I don't like Terry McLaurin. I don't have beef with him. I don't know this guy. But, You know what that? But look, the point is, yeah. I mean, I don't know the guy. I'm not. I just don't think Terry McLaurin is a dynamic, top tier receiver one. I think he's earned merit as a Pro Bowl receiver one. But if you're gonna pay him like Jamar Chase money, you're bugging. You're bugging. You might as well have just kept that cap space and done something else with it. Short up the defense, man. I mean, you could have kept a couple young, up and coming receivers who are balling out this season on other teams. And obviously, hindsight is 2020. I didn't necessarily have an opinion on those guys and whether we should keep them or not. So I'm not going to sit here now and be like, oh, we let these guys go and what the fuck, blah, 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 as a fan, right? I'm not going to do that. But it raises the question: do you trust yourself as a front office group? Do you trust yourself to be able to pick the best players? Do you trust your evaluation abilities? Do you think that you're going to get? Where did we get Terry McLaurin? Was a second round pick, or maybe perhaps a third round pick when he came out, right? He was not. He was a. That's considered an early round pick. I guess some people will call second round early round. He was an early to mid round pick. He was a late early round pick. You could call it that, right? So, and that's the guy who is now being paid top tier money. So why can't you do that again? You can't find another guy. There's always guys that slip, man. Always. So if you trust your evaluation ability, this desperation to pay guys who may or may not deserve it because they're asserting their leverage as players goes away. Let somebody else pay the guy. Who cares? You might look goofy for 10 seconds in the cosmic sense, like in the sense of, you know, the season and shit. But at the end of the day, like you might look goofy for like a couple months. Is what I mean, like a couple months to the beginning of the season. Then once you start to see that your process is solid, and you show people, look, we got another guy though. We pay him way less. And I'm not saying we have to. The goal is not to just underpay players and screw guys, right? That's not the point. The point is like, there's got to be a method to the madness, man. There's got to be something behind it. And I feel like last year we were very, very high on the front office group as a fan base, and I'm not 100% sure that is reflecting now, right? I don't think there's the same enthusiasm in the fan base now. That being said, I do think the front office group did a good job. I don't think they were flash in the pan. I think that they have a philosophy, they have a vision that they're going by, and they're going to do that. You know what I mean? So it's not what I would do personally, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna shit on it. So cap flexibility and rookie contracts, exactly. There you go. Rookie contracts is the key word. When you have guys who are good players developing in their first, second, and third year and on their rookie contracts playing well for you, that's when you have a good team. Because you have your guys who are veterans who you're paying a lot. You have guys who are playing for more money on rookie contracts, balling out because you evaluated well, you picked good players, and you develop well. And that's what makes you a good team. That's when your fives and sixes are good, are very good players, good young players, right? Or perhaps they become your best players and the veterans are now your fives and sixes. You don't pull up and just pick up a bunch of free agents and hope to win football, and that's not how it works. And honestly, a lot of success for free agents and productivity is not quite relevant in your system, in your scheme. It's not always a fit, right? It just doesn't work like that. So I say all that to say that I don't believe in this dichotomy of win now versus build for the future. I don't think those are two antithetical things, and I don't think those are two choices you pick from on a menu. I think that there's a middle ground where you every single year you evaluate, you take the best players you can at the picks that you have in free agency at good deals. You look for value free agents, and you continue to develop your players and make smart decisions whenever they arise. I don't think stockpiling draft picks is a good idea. There are going to be decisions that are weighted towards the future and weighted towards the present, no matter what. So yes, I understand what people say when they say win now versus play for later. But at the end of the day, these decisions are not mutually exclusive, and they don't exist in this dichotomy, in this like opposite sense that we seem to talk about it. A lot of those decisions will help us win now and in the future, and a lot of bad decisions will fuck us now and help us and make us lose in the future. So, good decisions at the end of the day. We're making a good or bad decisions the way I look at things. And then, the best organizations know when to tank and step back. The Eagles did it, right? The Lions had a tough season before they went on their runs. Texans, I believe had a season like that as well. A lot of good organizations do this. I mean, this isn't just recent memory. If we go further back, I'm sure there are more. A lot of organizations, especially in the position we're in now, where the talent is there on the roster. The roster is loaded. The roster has potential. I wouldn't say that we are the best roster. I would say that we're like an 85 roster, 84, 83, and we're underperforming like crazy this year because of injuries and stuff. But we can easily make some decisions in an offseason and develop some guys and get to like a 90, 91, 92 roster. Last year, I would say was a fluke. I would say making the playoffs made sense for us, but going to the NFC Championship was wild. That was luck. And we need to beat the Eagles. That's what we got to be focused on, and we got to do this over the course of the long term. The ownership group needs to have patience and allow the front office to exercise their vision over the course of 5 years, 3 years absolute minimum, right? 3 years absolute minimum, but I would really say like 5 to 7 years is when you get to see stuff come to fruition. Obviously, you're going to see improvements year over year, and it could be, it could be like I always do this graph thing. It can be kind of up and down, but it's trending upwards overall, right? And this season, right? This is the second season we went seemed like a sharp spike, and now we're back down to the bottom. So let's see where we go next season. We got to see whether this thing is trending down or if it's trending up, right? That's the idea, and it's not too early to evaluate anyone or fire anybody. I do think also Dan Quinn taking over the play call, and this is one thing I wanted to mention, was a huge boon, and it shows that we have potential next season because the defense was underperforming, and the defense actually stepped it up once Dan Quinn started calling the defensive plays. So maybe when we come to next season, right, with a little bit of tanking and a little bit of draft position jockeying and a little bit of trading back, a little bit of picking up guys at value and picking up guys in free agency at value, developing our existing players, getting guys back healthy, Dan Quinn now taking over. That could all contribute to something crazy next season. We don't know. We don't suck, right? We don't suck. So that's my thing, man. I promised I would stop doing this if I wasn't getting paid for it, but I just like football too much. So I think that this is what we should do as an organization, as the Commanders. The first step is to give Ravi Muley a call, hire him, and then from there, we can take it from there. You get what I'm saying? So whatever I just described is also a good idea. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you got some internships in there. Give me a call. I mean, I've sent my resume over, but who knows? Whatever. I don't have the tenure to be making these sorts of demands, but I mean, I do think I can contribute. But the point is, these are my opinions. I just wanted to share them on YouTube because I don't have any other forum, and I am out of the game right now. So, all right, peace and love.